Beauty and the Beast. Once upon a time there lived a wealthy merchant who one fine day lost all his wealth. All that remained was a small house in the village where he moved with his 3 daughters. The 2 elder daughters spent their entire days complaining about their situation, while the youngest enthusiastically took care of the household and helped her father work in the fields. She was so beautiful that her father called her Beauty. One day, the merchant had to leave home for business. "What would you like me to bring you as a gift?" he asked his daughters. The elder sisters demanded that he bring them jewels, while the youngest smiled and said, "Come back quickly and bring me only white roses." The father promised to fulfill all his daughters' requests. The merchant quickly finished his business and headed home. Nightfall caught him in the forest, and he lost his way. He wandered in the woods for a long time, until he finally stumbled upon an open castle gate. The merchant led his horse to the stable, tied him up, gave him food, and entered the palace chambers. He thought there was no one there, but in one of the rooms a festive table was set. The merchant waited a bit to see if anyone would come to the table, and then he hungrily ate everything that was there. Then he found a comfortable bed and fell asleep. The merchant was greatly surprised when he woke up in the morning and saw that his old clothes had been replaced with completely new ones. He dressed and went to the room where he had eaten the night before. It turned out that the breakfast had already been prepared for him. "It's hard to believe that the fate is so kind to me," thought the merchant, and started eating. He was about to mount his horse when he saw bushes of white roses. The merchant remembered what he had promised Beauty. He dismounted from his horse, approached the bushes, and reached out to pluck a flower. But then a thunderous voice boomed out, "Do not touch. This is my flowers." The merchant turned around and saw a huge and terrifying beast looking at him. "I gave you shelter, food, and new clothes, and you steal my flowers. For these you will die." The merchant trembled with fear. "Please don't kill me," he pleaded. "I wanted to pick these flowers for my daughter." The beast felt a little sorry for him. It looked pensively at the merchant and said, "Very well, but only one thing can save you. Promise me that you will come back to me in a month and bring with you the first living thing you meet on your way home." The frightened merchant agreed. He was very pleased that he had gotten off so easily with the beast and quickly found his way home. However, his joy quickly turned to despair when he thought about what living thing he might encounter first. It could be a dog or a cat, but what if it turned out to be his beloved daughter, Beauty? And that's exactly what happened. The merchant was very upset. When Beauty learned from her father what had happened to him, she said that the promise must be fulfilled. 4 weeks passed very quickly. The merchant prepared horses and set out for the palace with his beloved daughter and a heavy heart. A table was already set for them in the palace, but neither Beauty nor her father touched the food. Suddenly heavy footsteps were heard, and the beast entered the room. "Is this the daughter who liked my white roses?" it asked in a rough voice. "Yes," answered the merchant, "and she insisted that I fulfill what I promised you." "Nothing threatens her here," the beast said, already speaking more softly. "But you must leave here right away." Beauty cried bitterly as her father left. However, in her room she discovered a magic mirror on the wall, which said to her, "Dear girl, dry your tears. No tear will soften the separation. Look in the mirror, think of your family. Everyone you think of, you will see in me." From that moment, Beauty stopped feeling unhappy. Weeks went by, and Beauty discovered that the beast wasn't scary at all. but rather very kind and caring. She liked it more and more. One beautiful day the Beast asked Beauty to marry him. Although Beauty had grown to like the Beast, she replied that she could never do that. The next morning Beauty looked in the mirror and asked to see her father. He was lying in bed, very sick. When she asked the Beast to let her go home to see her father, it was very upset. "I'll come back as quickly as I can," promised Beauty. The Beast agreed, gave her a magic ring, and said, "When you decide to return to me, take off this ring and put it on the table." At that moment, Beauty found herself in her father's house. As soon as he saw her, he felt better and began to recover. Days and weeks passed quickly. One night, Beauty dreamed of the Beast. Sick and weak, it lay beside a bed of white roses. The Beast wanted to die because it couldn't live without her. When she woke up, Beauty knew exactly what she had to do. She took off the magic ring, put it on the table, and found herself among the white roses beside the poor Beast. "Dear Beast, don't die," she pleaded. "I love you, and I will marry you." Suddenly everything around her shone with bright lights, and the garden was filled with the sound of wonderful music. In place of the Beast stood a handsome young prince. "Dear Beauty," he said, "a long time ago an evil witch turned me into a terrible beast. Only the love of a beautiful girl could break the spell. Beauty, you are that beautiful girl who broke the curse." Beauty and the prince had a grand wedding. Beauty's father settled nearby, and they lived together happily and contentedly until the end of their days. The Rabbit Reader read for you. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you for watching.